The title says enough. Here are Pokemon they better put in Legends ZA, even though we know they won't. So this might be wishful thinking, but I can't kick this video off with anyone but Smeargle. On the surface, Smeargle could be a terrible pick if you've seen anything about how the battle mechanics are going to work in ZA, as the sketch move might be a tough thing to implement, and I'm not quite sure Game Freak wants to code in animations for Smeargle using every single move. But while Smeargle has a lot going against it mechanically, Smeargle just belongs. I mean, just start by looking at the region in question. Kalos' Route 7 has not one, not two, but 3 artist trainers using the puppy painter, and one of them even uses 2 of them. They're not very good battlers, but thematically, these Smeargle being featured as artist pals, painting the picturesque Kalos countryside, is reason alone to have them brought back. I think one of the artists may have even been in Victory Road, but I honestly can't remember. There is danger here, though, with the whole futuristic Lumiose City thing, as unfortunately, we may be looking at these AI Smeargle that make these hyper-realistic action figures of their trainers instead of painting the landscapes of Bob Ross like it should be. Well, I guess there is one more danger, or quirk, or whatever you want to call it. With Smeargle's signature move being Sketch, of course, this would technically mean that Smeargle would have to learn every move in the game. And I'm not saying I'm not here for the wild animations, I really am. Let's see Smeargle use Yveltal's Oblivion Wing in 4K 60 and never look back. Pokemon, I'm loving this new direction from you. And listen here, I know it's not actually gonna happen. Sketch would be a game development nightmare for a game like this, and I know they need to watch out for large commitments to extra work if they're gonna hit those deadlines. Now, I was gonna save this for later in the video, but we need to talk about Legendaries. I mean, these are Legends games after all. There's going to be an increased focus on Legendaries and lore, just like we had in Legends Arceus. So which ones should be in this game? I think with the kind of alphabet theming of this game, there's only one logical place to start. The title itself, ZA, foreshadows an assumption that, of course, Zygarde could be coupled with an A legendary at some point in the story. It's not guaranteed, but let's at least look at our options. We can get one out of the way for sure. Arceus already got its own Legends game. It's very hard to believe that it'll get any kind of spotlight here. Although that final boss fight was sick, and something like that better be included for Zygarde or whoever the main legendary is in ZA. Even with that though, Arceus should not and will not be in this game. Articuno could be an option. It's not too hard to believe they do something with the Kanto birds, as they were present in the Gen 6 games as roaming captures. And Kalos and Kanto have a lot of connections via the whole Mega Evolution thing, but I'm pretty sure they won't get any new forms or even really any spotlight because the Gen 8 DLC already kind of did that. The Galarian forms are enough, they're pretty cool, and I don't think these birds need any more love. And so surprisingly enough, all that we're left for with an A legendary, besides Arcanine if you count, the original legendary, it just leaves us with Azelf, which Azelf on the surface seems like an afterthought. It was also just recently in Legends Arceus and had quite the spotlight there. So did we strike out on A legendaries? I mean, I guess so. Whoa. Wait, hold it. Take a closer look at this Pokemon. Closer still. Have you figured it out yet? The king. No, not that king. The king. AZ. AZ is literally in its name. The whole alphabet theme of this game, come on. Azelf embodies it perfectly in name, and it being the willpower Pokemon kind of embodies the climb to the top theme that it seems like this game is going for. Could be a strong contender after all, but they probably wouldn't put it in without Uxie and Mesprit, would they? Now, with all that said, we have to ask ourselves, what if we're missing the mark by only looking for an A legendary? Could we expand our search to look for a duo of legendary Pokemon here? I mean, of course, Zygarde is the mainstream assumption for the Z legendary in this game, rightfully so. But surprisingly enough, our pool of Z legendaries to choose from here is a lot bigger than our pool of A legendaries that we just looked at. Besides the aforementioned Zygarde, Zacian, Zamazenta, Zapdos, Zekrom, Zeraora, and Zarude all start with Z. And if the Pokemon Company is to reconcile their fractured relationship with the last letter of the alphabet, perhaps it starts with one or even all of these Pokemon, should they be in the game. Zarude specifically even has its own alternate form. I know Arceus got a bunch of plates and stuff, but it's hard to deny that the letter Z got more favorable treatment, especially recently, than the letter A, at least when it comes to legendary distribution. So I feel like that'd have to be it, but not Dada Zarude, some like Papa Zarude. Sorry. But if you don't like that, then my final answer would have to be Azelf. It's simple, doesn't have to be much. Would be a massive missed opportunity because I know they're going to miss it, and I'll go ahead and slap a guarantee on Azelf not being in the game. Tough to say for sure with any of these, and Game Freak does like to slot in some random legendaries. See the genies and Legends Arceus. Who knows, we could get a fourth of the Lake Trio, but they should be there. All right, now we do know one thing for sure. Greninja will be in this game. So it might surprise you to find out that my third pick for this video is indeed Greninja, but not that Greninja. I'm talking about this Greninja. Yeah, Battle Bond Greninja is still here. Well, kinda. It got heavily nerfed in Gen 9, but that's besides the point. Its transformation, it's gone. It's gone. ZA should bring it back. It's going to be a game all about transformation. We're getting Megas back, so Pokemon forms will be a central theme of this game, whether it be Mega Evolution or whatever. I get the Bond phenomenon is different, and some would say it steps on the toes of the new Megas, but there's room for this to stand as some kind of post-game side quest, isn't there? I mean, come on, who doesn't want to see this again? Basically, all I'm saying is for the first time in 10 years, we're back in Greninja's homeland. It never got a third game. The new form was shoehorned into the Sun and Moon demo. It should have been in Pokemon Z. And I know it kind of gets enough of the spotlight. It got a spot in Smash. It's one of the most popular Pokemon of all time, so I really don't mind it. Charizard is going to have 2 forms in ZA, so can't we give Greninja at least one? I guess Charizard could have a third form. Everyone just be ready for Charizard Z. It's happening. I'm sorry. If only I could have known back in the Sun and Moon demo that our friend would not persist in the modern Pokemon games. I really would have taken the time to enjoy that. Just play it over and over again. Spend some time with my pal, Ash Greninja. How sad. And although he's gasping for air, dead in the water. Wait, would he mind that? He's a water type. He's dead in the water as far as Pokemon is concerned. But Ash Greninja has a pulse. It's at least represented by Greninja's Final Smash and Smash Ultimate. And it doesn't seem like we're getting another Smash game anytime soon, so I say live long and prosper. Not only would this Battle Bond transformation overshadow any potential Mega Greninja we could see, or other Mega forms in this game, period, but the proverbial nail in the coffin for our long-tongued Naruto is that his namesake is dead too. Moment of silence for Ash Ketchum. Somehow it feels more likely that we'd get like a Horizons form for Greninja. I don't know if any of you thought of this yet, but we probably won't even have abilities in this game at all. Legends Arceus didn't have them, so why should this? We are shaking up the battle mechanics, of course, and I don't think they want abilities to have to be something they factor in there. So yeah, we should all be afraid for Ash Greninja's survival. They'll forget about it. But not to fear, friends, as Greninja is not the sole starter Pokemon on this list, because we have to talk about Serperior and Empoleon. Let me explain. Obviously, we already know the starter picks for Legends ZA. That being Tepig, Totodile, and of course Chikorita. Now with those starters, there are a few interesting things to note here. The first of which is that the Johto starters have now all been used in the Legends games. Is this just a rub in our faces that we didn't get Let's Go Johto, Legends Johto, or Legends Celebi, or whatever they could have given us? Second point, in Legends Arceus, we got Oshawott, Rowlet, and Cyndaquil. None of the other starters from generations that those starters came from were included in Legends Arceus. Oshawott did not have Tepig nor Snivy. Rowlet did not have Popplio nor Litten, and Cyndaquil did not have Totodile nor Chikorita. Third point, all of the starters from the Region of Inspiration in Legends Arceus, that being Hisui for Sinnoh, they were all featured in Legends Arceus in their normal forms. They weren't given any new forms. Only the new starters for Legends Arceus were given new forms. And the fourth point is that no other starters were included in Legends Arceus other than the base 3 starters and the 3 Sinnoh starters. I have no reason to believe they'd shoehorn any extras into Legends ZA. So with that said, we've made our case already that Empoleon and Serperior will not be in Legends ZA. So why exactly should they have been included? Well, Serperior being the regal Pokemon brings to mind a lot of monarchy and royalty themes, very present in the Western European locale that we've kind of developed for ZA and I guess overdeveloped for ZA. There's a literal story of a king, that being AZ, and we expect his lore to be a little bit more developed after this game too. So why not have a Pokemon that lives up to that kingliness or royalty? Bulbapedia's origin section for Serperior further points to its connection with King Louis specifically. Of course, he's a French king. It says Serperior's ability to amplify sunlight within its body, as noted in its Pokédex entry, may allude to King Louis IX of France, who famously referred to himself as the Sun King. The way it keeps its small arms behind its back conveys an air of dominance and authority. And for Empoleon, we have somewhat of an adjacent story, but rather than a monarchist royalty, we have an emperor penguin inspired by Napoleon himself. You know, Napoleon Bonaparte, the really short one that I guess isn't short. I don't know, look it up. I don't know the details. Honestly, for as much love as I feel like Gen 4 has gotten in the last 4 years, it seems that Empoleon has kind of always gotten the short end of the stick. I wouldn't be surprised if they did some more for it. I get that everybody loves Piplup and that Piplup's been one of the most famous Sinnoh starters of all time, but I always felt like Empoleon was kind of the meh choice to use back in Gen 4, and it was kind of similarly irrelevant in Legends Arceus and even BDSP. I can't put my finger on it, but something definitely felt better about using Infernape or Torterra. Maybe the moveset, stats, matchups, not sure. Anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked, sorry. I'm just saying, these are two examples of royal-themed Pokemon that could make their way onto AZ's team, you know? They thematically fit, but I just know it's not going to happen. With all of that said, and how the precedent has already been set for these Pokemon to not be included, let's just not forget one crucial thing. Legends Arceus is the first and only Legends game we have to go off of right now. Anything I'm saying can be taken with a grain of salt since there's no actual formula to go off of here. We can't even make assumptions because there's only been one game. People are trying to make assumptions off of one game. We don't even have 2 Legends games yet, and everybody is trying to say they can predict everything. Just let it go. But the potential French influences don't stop there. So let's break things up a bit and instead give this next slot to a group of Pokemon. Smeargle, who we already mentioned, is a prime example of this, but there are so many non-Kalosian Pokemon that just feel like they belong in Kalos. Some from before X and Y that Game Freak was definitely kicking themselves for not saving for the literal France region, and some that they saved for after the France region, which it's like, why didn't you just put it in Gen 6? Gen 6 literally has the smallest Pokedex. It needed more Pokemon. It needed more French Pokemon, and you helped them. I don't know why. Let's just dive in. And okay, fine, I get it. Yes, they added Megas, but like, does that really count as beefing up the decks? They're like half Gen 1 Pokemon anyways. You guys can decide amongst yourselves. I don't know whether that counts or not. And it might still be the smallest, even with the Megas. On to the list. Rattata. Before you dismiss it, hang on. Game Freak would be cooking if we gave Rattata a proper Ratatouille form in the France region. We're literally in Paris. The movie was in Paris. But Nintendo definitely wouldn't touch a Disney or Pixar design with a 10-foot pole, would they? Licky Licky is partially inspired by the French word gourmand, which just means somebody who really likes to eat. I, for one, resonate with this guy. You know, nobody asked for Licky Licky to exist, but he was ballin' in that one Darkrai movie, and I was here for it. I watched that thing like 18 times. Golden Go is literally a French fry. Enough said. I really don't care what you try and tell me this guy is. Ever since he was revealed, he's been a French fry. Celebi is an onion, so we could make, you know, French onion soup. I'm sorry, this video is currently descending into madness, and if we've gotten to that point, then just bear with me, because I'm going to pick a French Toast Pokemon next. You may be wondering, where am I going to find a French Toast Pokemon? There is no French Toast Pokemon. Oh no, but who says we couldn't team up here? A whole kitchen of Pokemon are coming together to help. I mean, Kalos has all the restaurants, right? We got to have the restaurants in Lumiose. They got to cook breakfast somehow. So we're going to bring a whole team in. Chansey provides the eggs. Diplin provides the maple syrup. And for the bread, there's none other than Fido and Dosh Spun. But actually, there is. As much as I love the well-baked Gen 9 boys, there's only one loaf that really works for Pokemon, and that's Charjabug. Okay, quick disclaimer before I keep yapping. Note that I'm not talking about any Pokemon that have been confirmed for the game as of July 2025, or at least I'm doing my best to. It's really hard to keep up with these trailers, and I'm not sure when this video is coming out. But that, my friends, is as boring as where Houndoom comes from, or I don't know what I'm allowed to say here on YouTube yet. I'm still pretty new at this, guys. Just bear with me. What I do know I cannot say is subscribe several times in a row in French until you hit the button. That way you won't miss all of our ZA content when the game comes out. S'abonner. Sebonne. And not talking about Pokemon that have been confirmed also means not talking about Eternal Flower Floette, who of course would be the highest priority on this list if we were including Gen 6 Pokemon, which we're kind of assuming will all be in the game. But I don't know, Floette might actually not be playable even after all this time. That would be the hot take for Legends ZA of the video. Also, Floette rhymes with baguette. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's lump it in with the last few ones or something. Okay, only 5 left. I promise you I'm going to make sure 80% of these are money picks. Starting with the mistake that was made in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that was not made in the Let's Go games. We're talking about size differences. What Wailord. That's the pick. It's Wailord. Now I'm assuming size differences are making the cut for the game, right? I mean, they have to. And we already know we're getting Mega Steelix, which of course is the tallest Mega, and we're gonna need some eye candy to look at with Mega Steelix towering over other Pokemon. And if we're gonna go all in, let's just go all in. I don't know where they came from, but I'm hoping the editor can pull those funny videos of Wailord using Darkest Lariat. It was definitely hacked in. I know I could never use the move, but come on. I mean, I just need that in my life. The prospect of a 47-foot whale the size of a school bus rapidly spinning around and then ramming into the opponent was a spectacle I never knew I needed until I got it. And now is the time, Pokemon. Now is the time. We have finally been given the anime-style battles live in-game, so I swear, Game Freak, let me battle against my flabbergastic gargantuan whale and pin it up against a 4-inch tall flabebe up in the streets of Paris, wherever we're having the battles, on the rooftops, in the sewers. I don't care. It literally would be the smallest Pokemon fighting up against the second largest Pokemon next to Eternatus, which almost certainly will not be in Legends CA, and it shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have put Eternatus here, but come on, they're not putting this thing in the game. I mean, it's literally the big. This is an abomination. Now, will Wailord actually make the cut? Probably not. Actually, come to think of it, I'm kind of unsure how a lot of the fish or seaborne Pokemon are going to work for this game. Kalos doesn't have many other water types that can't also exist, either levitating or standing on land in some way. But are fish just supposed to flop around the city in these battles? Kinda seems like a disadvantage. I mean, of course, they'll probably just end up doing what they did for Legends Arceus. Fish levitate on land, and whenever you use a Pokemon in the water, a little floating platform just kind of appears. So I guess now Pokeballs are not only large enough on the inside to fit a school bus-sized whale, but also now a floating platform to go along with my Mega Steelix that's definitely gonna float in the waterways of Lumiose City. But speaking of Lumiose City, I expect the next Pokemon on this list to have a pivotal role in the navigation throughout your adventure in Legends ZA. Snorlax blocks your path in X and Y, and there is absolutely no reason it can't do it again. But hey, everybody remembers encountering that Alpha Snorlax in Legends Arceus for the first time. Come on. Why can't we just let Snorlax have the spotlight? It really deserves it. Maybe we're going back to our Coliseum XD roots and snag other trainers' Pokemon as we climb from Z to A or whatever. Listen, I know the argument is there that there are other Gen 1 Pokemon that need a buff, a new form, or some time in the spotlight. Fearow, Arbok, the Nidos, Parasect, Venomoth, Golduck. Oh gosh, Golduck. They need to make it a psychic type. I don't care if they give it a cyborg head or something. Just do it. Just do it. Dodrio, Dugong, Cloyster, Hypno, Seaking, Starmie, the Fossils, Dragonite. I did see Mega Dragonite. I think it's very cute. Let's move on. Even with all that said, while I understand Snorlax got plenty of love by being a path blocker in Gen 1, being one of Red's Pokemon on top of Mount Silver in Gen 2, and being given the worst baby Pokemon obtainable only by Honeytree that somehow got to debut before its generation in movie form. Yes, it also got to block the path in Kalos. It got a signature Z move, a Gigantamax form, and it's the face of Alpha Pokemon. But I don't see why it can't have more. We need more. Also, Game Freak, this is the way to block the city path. We all remember the original Lumiose City. Why in the world are we paying this construction guy minimum wage to stand here and lie about a power outage when we can clearly see that the lights are on right behind him? If you really don't want people to walk into the center of the city before a certain amount of the game has been played, just get a bunch of Snorlax, lay them in front of the streets, ban Pokeflutes, and boom. You're done. It has way more charm than feeling like I'm being lied to by this guy, at least. Yes, I'm talking about you, sir. Okay, I cannot let myself get too heated about this. There is a better potential city blocker on the list, believe it or not. Yes, I know. I'm passionate about Snorlax, but this one has actually been used in Legends Arceus already. It's Mr. Mime, okay? Now, I understand he's not the most French mime. He's based off of one of those mimes, you know, that pretends it's in a box, of course, right? And that's an English thing, not a French thing, really, I think. And that doesn't bother me on its own. What does bother me is that in Galar, they said, let's take this already British Pokemon, give him an evolution. That's, okay, admittedly pretty cool, but also give it another English form. And I get it's like an ice skater, like a tap dancer. I don't exactly know what I'm looking at. All I know is we do not have a regional French mime, and now is the time. I've got a shout out to Cardinal H on Twitter, since after almost asking an artist to draw this for me, I found this via search, and yes, this is exactly what I was thinking. This is literally a French mime now, and I've been waiting for Mr. Mime to have something like this ever since I started playing Pokemon. It never made sense to me. This is what I thought a mime looked like. Now, Gen 6 did already give Mr. Mime some love by giving it the fairy type, right? So let's have the Gen 6 soft remakes do it again, huh? Could even give it the psychic fighting type, right? Why not? Every other Pokemon with this typing has either a Mega or is Mega right now anyways. Mega Mr. Mime is a Pokemon I'd have on my team just for the name anyways. Hey, Cardinal H thought up Dark Psychic for this mock-up. Oh yeah, and let him block some roads with or without Snorlax, and definitely without this guy. You didn't think I'd forget about you now, did you, Buster? You're not ready for our penultimate pick here today, or should I say picks actually, because I let you pick the Pokemon for this. Not sure who sees our community post, but we've got all of the Pokemon submissions you gave for this video hyper-fused into this giant Pokemon abomination. Sorry, the editor told me we don't have the budget for that today. I've got to chill out. May I present to you your Pokemon that should be in Legends ZA but won't be. Buzzco2 says Volcanion, which I agree, although I don't think we're going to get it in the way people want us to get it, because that power plant is not happening, unfortunately. Maybe DLC. I won't get my hopes up. Just a random guy bro says a Skarmory evolution or a Sharpedo with a tail. I'm not sure how this one would fit in. We already have a Mega Sharpedo, but hey, a Skarmory could get something. Dino Kitten says Skitty, Zigzagoon, Sentret, all being potential alleyway Pokemon. I could buy that. Macrocosmos33 said Rayquaza, Groudon, and Kyogre. While I think every Mega will be accessible in this game, Groudon and Kyogre do not count as Megas, and Rayquaza I actually think might be the only true Mega to not get in. Not sure why I'm feeling that. I just feel like they don't want it to overshadow whatever they got planned for Zygarde. It would be pretty sad for all these Megas to return and for us not to have access to Rayquaza somehow, though. Rohan7227 says Zeraora, bringing us back to other potential Z legendaries besides Zygarde. I buy it. I don't know. I can't substantiate it, but I buy it. Matt with a bunch of 8s after says Glameow simply because it's his favorite Pokemon and without any regard for the fact that Glameow was just in Legends and BDSP, although it was a version exclusive in its debut gen, so I guess this is kind of fair, actually. Gaius E. Cost says Missing No, of all things, who will probably never make it into another Pokemon game, but perhaps we'll get an Easter egg. That's probably the most we can ask for at this point. And you know what? Enough of this. I'm going to cap off the rapid fires with a few of my own. Think about Shedinja. I mean, the game mechanic, how would it work with this new battle style? It'd be fun to see them try. Come on. The Furfrou and Vivian forms are interesting. I don't know if we'll see new ones. I don't know if we'll get all the old ones or something in between. And will they really go through the work of putting them all in? Breloom? I'm gonna let you guys figure this one out. Audino, imagine they put every Mega in the game except for the one that nobody used. Goodra, it's the Gen 6 Pseudo. They've got to do something with it. We're in Kalos. Are they going to give it a Mega? Or are they going to do nothing with it? Listen, maybe it's just flip-flop, right? Maybe Garchomp's going to get a ton of love out of nowhere. And of course, Lucario. Obviously, it's going to be in the game, but for all you Lucario fans out there, including the editor, I assume he's going to put something really, really cool here. Lucario montage incoming. Okay, back on track. I've saved the final spot. Okay, back on track. I've saved the final spot in this list here for something very important to me. It's Croagunk. Now you might be thinking, Trevor, we just had 2 games in a row before Scarlet and Violet featuring Croagunk. And not just featuring Croagunk, but heavily featuring Croagunk. Hasn't it gotten enough love? And while you're right, I could care less about the Pokemon specifically, right? Again, hear me out. All the way back in Gen 4, there was a specific Croagunk used by one of the greatest, most mistreated, and underutilized Pokemon characters of all time. Looker. Of course, being a member of the International Police that looked like he was here to stay for the entirety of the Pokemon series. After his appearance in Pokemon Platinum, where he helped us thwart Team Galactic, he made cameos in nearly every generation after that. Gen 5, he comes back to initiate our search for the Sages. Gen 6 and Kalos, he had an entire post-game side quest dedicated to him. More on that in a second. Gen 6 again in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, losing his memories and giving you the Audinite that nobody used. Gen 7, he's here helping us locate a bunch of Ultra Beast with some kind of alien task force. I don't know how he got connected with them, but okay. But then in Gen 8, he vanished. It seems likely that the entirety of Legends ZA takes place within Lumiose City. We've seen Emma, we've seen the Looker Bureau, and it was one of the most prominent places at the end of X and Y. It better come back, and it better come back strong. If Game Freak let this game cook a proper amount, we should be getting a bunch of insane side quests originating from the Looker Bureau, maybe letting us solve some modern crime or something like that throughout the game or as side quests. The whole Essentia and Esper storyline at the end of XY may not have been much more than a simple fetch quest, but hey, it was real post-game story content, something that I feel like holds a lot of potential in Pokemon games. Yeah, we don't always get a lot of it. And all this brings us back to Croagunk. You've probably been thinking, what does an Interpol agent have to do with a poison frog? Well, as I mentioned, he did have one in Platinum. He was running around the city with his crime-solving partner frog poison thing. But even beyond Platinum, there's a popular theory surrounding what actually happened to Looker's Croagunk after that game. Looker mentions in X and Y that one of his Pokemon is deceased now. Perhaps it was lost in action, so I'm calling it. Let's make ZA the place that finally explains this whole story, ties it all together, brings Looker back, front and center. Tell us, what happened to Croagunk? What became of the Looker Bureau? Where did Looker go in Generation 8 and 9? Was he the ball guy? He was the ball guy. What happened to Looker's memories in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? And will Essentia and Esper return in Legends ZA? Is Emma still at it? I mean, listen, I know all of this might be thwarted by the fact that Looker at the end of X and Y hands you the keys to the Bureau, disappears forever, and now, yes, Emma is in charge. They probably don't want to overshadow her character, but there's gotta be some kind of callback, right? If this game is truly set in the future and only the future, there's no guarantee of Looker's return, and all we may be left with is a sad tribute to one Croagunk, whose disappearance, just like his trainers, may always be a mystery. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.